by St. Barnabas, in addition to 1230 WBVP Beaver Falls.
The views and opinions expressed on WBVP and WMBA are those of the participants and host. They are not necessarily the viewpoint of WBVP and WMBA, its staff, management, and advertisers. Thank you for listening to WBVP and WMBA.
It's now time for One Man's Opinion on Sports with Bryan Pasquale. The phone lines are open at 724-843-1888 and 724-774-1888. You can also watch live on the WBVP-WMBA Facebook page. Here is your host, Bryan Pasquale.
Welcome to One Man's Opinion on Sports with me, Bryan Pasquale. I'm here at the St. Barnabas Studios. Joining me today is my producer, Ryan Garazunas, as well as a special guest. We'll get to that in just a second. Ryan's ready to take your calls at 724-774-1888 and 724-843-1888. Also, make sure you check us out on Beaver County Radio Facebook Live and Beaver County Radio YouTube. Today's show is sponsored by Easy Home Exteriors. They do roofing, replacement windows, doors, and entryways, as well as siding. Easy Home Exteriors is a one-stop shop for all of your exterior modeling needs. For a free estimate, call 412-678-7008. That's 412-678-7008. Today we have a guest in the studio from the Two Dumb Yinzers, Mike Muller. Close enough. Okay, so last week, Ryan, while we were doing a little back and forth, you did call me Mike.
I did.
Now this happens on occasions, obviously, because you do the YouTube live cast, I guess is what it's called, with Mike all the time. Now, I've been waiting for you to call me Big Bear one time, though. Mike does go by Big Bear during a special month of the year, so...
I can go by Big Bear all the time if you guys want.
Well, welcome to the show, Mike.
Thank you for having me.
Make sure you check out Derpy, Mike, and Ryan on The Two Dumb Yinzers on YouTube. They have a webpage?
Yeah.
Dun, dun. Ryan, what do you always say? Hey, Mike, why don't you tell us about the website?
Mike, why don't you go and tell us a little bit about the website?
The2dumbYinzers.com.
And then that sexiness comes on. So.
Right.
Yeah,
That's Big
Brian's
Bear right there.
part. Yeah.
I do have...
That's what keeps them tuning in.
Do you know... did you ever watch... what was it? Was it Wilbon and what's the little skinny guy?
Kornheiser, yeah.
Whatever that show's called. Okay, I haven't watched it in forever. But they at the end of it, they would say, "What do we mess up?" And they used to have Tony Reale on there, and he would tell them what they messed up.
Stat Boys.
Yeah.
Last week, when I was talking about the Twin Peaks, I mentioned that I talked to a guy named John 2 seats down. It's actually Jack, and I saw him today. And so, sorry about that, Jack.
Did he hear the show, and did he realize that you had said that?
I think they're going to watch it this week.
Okay.
I think that's the plan. So, and also, I did run into a lawyer next to me, this lady, and we were chit-chatting, and she was telling me that Livy Dunn's mother is a very nice woman.
Oh.
I don't know if she's single or not, but, you know.
Yeah, just because there's a ring doesn't mean the goalie, or you can't put the puck past the goalie.
Well, my question is this. Now, you were at the Twin Peaks again. Do you do this every day that you have a show?
It depends on what time I get done with work.
Okay.
I wrapped up like a half hour early today, so I was able to stop. If I can't, then I
have so many questions just about the few things that you just said. So is the guy that's Jack, that's not Jack, that's John?
Yes, Jack, not John.
Well, isn't that the same? Like if guys are named Jack, don't some of them go by John or vice versa?
I'll have to ask him next Wednesday.
Yeah. I think it's like a William and Bill type thing. I really do.
JFK, people called him Jack.
Yes, right. The second part of that, Brian, what was the other thing that you said? Livy Dunn's mom.
Yeah, I guess this lady was down in the Outer Banks, which is where I go every year for vacation, and she said that I guess they ran into Paul Skeens' wife's mother.
Okay.
And then I was like, they're not married. Well, so I had to clear that up.
And you found that out at Twin Peaks as well.
Yeah. This lady, she was very intelligent. She's a corporate lawyer.
My third question about what you said was Jules still counting the televisions from last week? Because you said that she not only counted once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 times she was counting by when the manager come over and told you that there was 58 TVs or...
I think they gave her the day off today to work on the numbers at home. She was really crunching the numbers.
All right, I dig.
I want to go through some sports because we're going to have another dumb Yinzer. Okay, we're really bad at math here because this is one man's opinion. It ends up being Ryan and I, so that's two.
Yeah.
You guys are the two dumb Yinzers, yet you have a third party named Derpy. Derpy's like Madonna or Cher or Seal. There's no first name, there's no last name, there's just a name.
That's really true. Mike, why don't you tell him a little bit about Derpy?
Oh, God. Do I have to? Derpy's my nemesis. No, I like Derpy. He was He started out, in the comment section?
Yes.
And then Ryan was like, we need to have him on air.
No, that isn't how it played out.
So that's how it played out. It was draft season, not this draft, but the last draft.
Mike really hit it off with Derpy at first on the
commenting
on the chat
board.
board.
Yeah.
So they met online?
Yeah, they met online.
As all great love stories start.
But he, so then I started talking to Derpy a little bit, and I thought that Mike was totally interested in having him around to talk more. And here Mike was like, "Oh, that really wasn't the case." And lo and behold, here we are. I think about 14 months later, and Derpy is a very integral piece of the puzzle.
He's a integral key piece. He's a key cog in the machine.
Well, we will have Derpy on here, I guess, at the next segment. I guess if he calls in, I would assume that's the plan. I wanted to go over some real quick news because when we get Derpy on the line, we're going to go over the Pittsburgh Pirates. Basically, we're a little past halfway past the season. We want to judge what they've done, what they're going to do, where they're going. Then in the following segment, we're probably going to talk about the Steelers and what we have to look forward to going into like the preseason and whatnot. And then who knows what we'll get to at the end. Probably more Twin Peaks.
Yes.
But before we do that, there is some things going on. I know not too many people watch the NBA, but Klay Thompson, the longtime Golden State Warrior, 4-time champion, has gone to the Mavericks. I don't know what the whole deal is with there. And one of my favorite players in the NBA, Paul George, and the reason I love him is because he plays just as hard and just as well on defense as he does on offense. He's going to the 76ers, so good luck with that because Joel Embiid's hurt about 24/7.
Yeah.
So we'll see what's going on there. Also, LeBron James, his kid got drafted in the second round, 55th overall. They hired J.J. Redick, the former Duke guy and NBA player. And J.J. Redick, I believe, is a lawyer. He's a lawyer. My dad's a liar. Same difference. He said that Bronny James earned it. He earned it. He didn't get there because of his dad. He earned it. I'm not quite sure how earned it is.
Yeah, don't lie. Just tell the truth. Yeah, you drafted him because it's LeBron James's kid, and there's nothing wrong with it. You know how many coaches have coaching jobs in the NBA because they were someone's kid or they knew someone in the front office?
Now, my uncle is Tito Francona, not to be confused with Terry. Terry's his son. That's my cousin, even though Terry's much, much older than me. So Tito, a.k.a. John Francona, he played in the majors, and he said before he went over to war, he was in the minors. He had to go overseas and serve. And then when he came back, he was the only one on his minor league team that made it to the majors. And he said they were all just as good as me. He goes, it was never about who had the most talent. It was just who liked you and for whatever reason or who you knew.
Yeah. And it's like, in the business world, too. Hey, I know you work at this place. Can you get my kid an internship?
Right.
It's the same thing. That's just how it works. It's not saying it's right, not saying it's wrong. That's how it goes.
In the worldwide leader of terribleness, they are covering Wimbledon for the next several weeks. What that means for the Pat McAfee show is that it will not be on for the next several weeks. So I was hoping they would remove the Pat McAfee show because it's terrible. Turns out they're temporarily removing it because of Wimbledon.
You're not a fan of the PMS, huh?
Dude, put some sleeves on. Tell Hawk to look away from the camera for a split second once. It's so bad. It's just like, what was the term? Tool bags? Tool bag? He just he's like, whatever.
Hey, my question about him is, what are all those books and why does he have book covers on all of them? If you look at the books behind him, there is not any text on the side or front of anything. They're all covered like we used to do in school with our
Isn't
books.
that just like a plain Zoom background that he has?
I don't think.
Well, all I know is I've seen LeBron James plenty of times reading a book, and he's always on the first page. So I think it's something maybe like that. Like, hey, I'm smart, but I don't really read.
Okay, so people seem to be a little disappointed, Brian, about the Bronny James getting drafted. He probably shouldn't have got drafted. I mean, come on, he went to the Lakers. It's no
he's
secret.
5'0", 100 and nothing.
Right. I mean, he's a midget. Now, this guy, would you be more disappointed if he landed on a WNBA team. If he would have went and joined the WNBA draft and took that route with everything that's going on in culture nowadays, would it be more upsetting if he did that, or is it is this what you think?
Well, I think what will happen with Bronny James, and I want to segue into something that you just brought up. Bronny James, I guess he'll make his Lakers debut. His dad will probably give him his first assist, and they'll orchestrate that just like the WWE or however that's going to happen. And then he'll probably end up at the G League for a while to get development. Yeah. And if he does well, they're great. But like I said, they had him listed as 6'4". Then he went down to 6'2". Then he's 6'1". Then he took his shoes off and he's 5'9" and 120 pounds. It's just it's a charade. So, in the 1,500 meters for the United States, a former Oregon track star, Nikki Hilty, is a transgender person, and they're going to the Paris Olympics. I don't understand how, do the Olympics allow that from other countries? Do you know, Mike?
I don't know. This is the first I'm hearing of it. That's, that's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, here's my thing, okay, because I'm a huge libertarian. I guess we were going over this last week.
Yeah.
And I believe in everybody can do whatever they want as long as you're not harming another person. That's it. That's what I believe in. This is taking away women. Somebody isn't going over to the Olympics because this person born as a man is now going there instead. And I would be okay with it if there was one time a person born as a female became a man and then did this. But it's not going to happen.
My thing is, if it's going to sound weird, how far along are they in the transition process? Because as you go along, testosterone levels drop down, and you see that in swimming, that one swimmer, she won a bunch, but then further along in the transition, she dropped back to the middle of the pack.
Yeah.
So that's my only thing. Where are they in the transition process? Because you do have an unfair advantage in the early stages because you still have higher testosterone levels.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to get into the whole political part of that, but it's just, to me, it's just I have a daughter, and I said to her, one of these days you're going to play against somebody that was born a boy in volleyball, and they're going to just break your nose by hitting the ball so hard.
Like on Ben Stiller, what was the movie that he was on where he smashed a girl in the Ben Stiller.
It was the sequel. I want to say it was it was Meet the Fockers.
Yeah, it was Meet the Fockers. And remember the guy came up and I think it was Ben Stiller.
Yeah, and she was getting married in 2 days. And he broke her nose and he ruined the whole day.
Hey guys, I do want to say that I do have a big surprise. I know we're going to go to break here in about 3 minutes, but guys, I do want to introduce the one and only, the man, the myth, the legend. Nobody even knows if he's real, to be honest with you. Derpy is on the line, Bryan.
Derpy, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Derpy, you know how I know you're real?
Yes.
You do? You've been on this show before. This is your second time on, correct?
Yes.
You're not like AI, are you?
No.
That is a secret.
Can he pass the Turing test? That's the key question.
Well, welcome to the show, Derpy. I do. We're not going to get into this segment, but I am going to ask a couple Ohio questions too, because we do our broadcast here reaches into Ohio, so there are some Cleveland fans and there are some Ohio State fans. So I definitely want to go over that at some point later. But I hope you're prepared to talk about the Pirates and the Steelers, correct, Derp?
Correct.
All right, man.
Derpy is a wealth of knowledge. You wait till we get going. He's going to be...
I have one question, though, Derpy. Did you change that battery on the smoke alarm?
No.
Some things never change.
Going.
It's still going strong. It's a little joke going on the Two Dumb Yinzers YouTube live cast that in the background, every 8 to 15 seconds you hear a beep, and it's been going on for what, well over a year?
Well over a year now. It's like the bane of my existence. I have to constantly mute Derpy.
It's so unbelievable because at this point, none of us hear that it's going on. You hear it because you're listening.
We're used to it.
But every once in a while, Mike will point it out to me, but I don't hear it anymore.
Okay, so now you guys, when was your 3-year anniversary?
July 1st. July
1st
yes.
was the Two Dumb Yinzers 3-year anniversary on YouTube. You were on YouTube the whole time. And Derpy, you've been along as a contributor as well for well over a year, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Derpy, you are a man of a few words.
But he says a lot in those few words.
Now, we've talked about this the last time you were on. You are of age. You are 18 or above, correct, Derpy?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. You're in your 20s, correct?
Yeah.
You sound young. That's all. I mean,
Yeah.
I sound like I'm like probably 60, but you know.
Yes, Derpy is pushing 30, to be honest with you.
Oh, really?
Yes.
The late 20s.
Yes.
Like, if he's still around in the show with us in 3 years, man, we got to have a big bash for Derpy.
Yeah. What did they used to do when we were younger? The Lordy, look who's 40.
Yeah, now it's going to be for something for when he turns 30. We're gonna
Derpy,
blow up, man.
look who's 30.
All right, everyone. We are going to go to break. We'll be back talking to everybody from the Two Dumb Yinzers. We're going to talk Pirates whenever we come back. You've been listening to WBVP 99.3 FM and 1230 AM.
The place for news, sports, and entertainment. You're listening to Beaver County Radio, 99.3 FM and WBVP, live from the all-new Fry Transportation Studios.
This is Andy Toole, men's basketball coach at Robert Morris University, here to talk about my friends at Falcone Moon Township Ford. I know what it takes to win a basketball game. It begins with practice and a team of players who want to win. The same is true of the team at Moon Township Ford. Professionals who will win you over. They'll find the best rate and terms on a car loan to help you get the best deal. Make a fast break and avoid the roadblocks that stop you from finding the car you want. Go where I go. Moon Township Ford.
Falcone's Moon Township Ford, where friends send friends.
Has your classic car or hot rod seen better days? Just call me, Dave Rodenbaugh, and my team at the Pennsylvania Hot Rod Company. The full-service hot rod shop offers it all. Everything from custom fabrication and restoration to regular maintenance and collision repair. With over 40 years of experience, there isn't a job too big or too small. The Pennsylvania Hot Rod Company's enclosed trailer service ensures safe transit for your ride during any season. The Pennsylvania Hot Rod Company is located at 6th Street in Beaver Falls. Visit pahotrod.com or call 412-719-4950. Has your classic car or hot rod seen better days? Just call me.
One of the greatest honors a person can receive is to be gathered with their people at the time of their passing. Even biblical authors, when they wanted to explain what it meant to have lived a great, prosperous, and meaningful life, spoke of the individual as having lived a long time and being gathered with friends and relatives near as they closed out their twilight years. Being gathered together with loved ones is something that the J&J Spratt Funeral Home takes very seriously as well. The comfort both given and received cannot be underestimated. J&J Spratt Funeral Home also knows that the honor shown to a loved one at their time of need in this manner is still the right thing to do today. J&J Spratt Funeral Home has been gathering together with area families for 4 generations and looks forward to honoring future residents deserving of being gathered together with friends and family. Click jjsprattfh.com.
The views and opinions expressed on WBVP and WMBA are those of the participants and host. They are not necessarily the viewpoint of WBVP and WMBA, its staff, management, and advertisers. Thank you for listening to WBVP and WMBA.
Now back to One Man's Opinion with Bryan Pasquale.
Welcome back to One Man's Opinion on Sports with me, Bryan Pasquale. I'm here at the St. Barnabas Studios. Joining me today is my producer, Ryan Garazunas, as well as Derpy and Mike Moeller. Ryan is ready to take your calls at 724-843-1888 and 724-774-1888. Also, make sure you check us out on Beaver County Radio Facebook and Beaver County Radio YouTube. Today's show is sponsored by Easy Home Exteriors. They do roofing replacement, windows, doors, and entryways, as well as siding. Easy Home Exteriors is your one-stop shop for all of your exterior modeling needs. For a free estimate, call 412-678-7008. That's 412-678-7008. It's a special show. We have the trio from the Two Dumb Yinzers, the famous YouTubers.
I was going to say, I'm surprised that all three of us made it. I do know that Mike had nervous diarrhea prior to the show, and I didn't know if that was gonna change things. But here he is. No. You see him. He's in front of you. Everybody, you hear him. Mike made it.
So I am a big game player.
Big Bear over here. He steps up. He's like what was the little fella from Duke in the. Bobby Hurley. He had to leave in the beginning of games because he twice in the national championship had a little case of the upset stomach real quick.
Yes.
All right, well, we made it. Typically what I like is the Two Dumb Yinzers is on every Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. sharp.
That's right.
To noon. It has only started at 11 a.m. sharp one time that I have kept track of, and it was the time you had on the running back, Why can't I ever think of his
Tim
name?
Worley.
Tim Worley, yes.
Yeah.
I don't want to throw it out there.
great
that
Tim Worley.
That it's all Derpy's fault. We just wanted to put that out there. The show not starting on time every day.
Hey now.
I will have the record now. I am like ready at like 10:45.
Right, because you work like a night shift, so you're
like I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go to bed.
it's like
after
nighttime for you. Yeah.
Somebody's got to be a diva all the time. You know how it goes.
All right, what we're going to do is we're going to start off here. Real quick, I want to say something about Paul Skeens that I found out today, and I don't understand why it took so long. Paul Skeens' signing bonus was $9.2 million. It is the highest ever for someone's signing bonus. And, here I like to do the Dylan Cruz watch because back in the day before the draft, I kept saying they should draft the everyday player. And it turns out I was 200% wrong, but his signing bonus was $9 million. So he was just $200,000 under Paul Skeens. He was obviously drafted second for the Washington Nationals. He has 211 plate appearances in Double-A Harrisburg and batted .274 with 5 home runs. They've moved him up to Triple-A Rochester, and he has had 61 plate appearances and batted .271 with 2 home runs. So I would take Paul Skeens 100 million times out of 100 million times ahead of Dylan Cruz.
Me too. I was also on the Dylan Cruz bandwagon. I was like, we need an everyday player. I was wrong. We need a generational starting pitcher to build around.
Don't fool yourself. We do need an everyday player.
We do, but it's nice to have this guy here now.
But just as you do in football, you need your main guy, and your leader on your team is going to be your pitcher, as is the quarterback in the NFL. If you don't have good pitching, you're done. You're not going to win it.
Derpy, back before the draft. Now I have something for you here real quick. The Cleveland Indians, which I won't call them their regular name because I think it's silly. For the first time in the history of the Cleveland Indians, they have the number 1 pick in the draft this year. Did you know that, Derpy?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Who is there like a Paul Skeens or a Dylan Cruz type of player ready to be chosen? Is there like a consensus number 1 overall pick?
Not that I know of.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
typically the Pirates, what they used to do in the history of the organization was there was this guy that you couldn't miss on, and so they would take somebody else because they would have to pay that guy. So Cleveland does a much better job. Are they still in first place in their division?
Yes, sir.
Man, Derpy, you are a wealth of knowledge today.
They have a nice lead too. They got spanked by Kansas City over the weekend, but they still do have a nice lead in that Central Division.
I have one more question because some of our listeners out there, they may not follow baseball. How many games a year do the Major League Baseball players play in a year, Derpy?
Come on now. 162.
All right. Attaboy.
There we go.
That is one of Derpy's most famous lines during the baseball season. I want to read a Ben Cherington quote here, and then we'll start with Derpy, then we'll go to Mike, and then to Ryan to get your feedback on it. We have more players that can improve by far than the number we can acquire. I truly believe the current group of position players can be better in the second half of the season than they were in the first. Derpy, your thought on that line from the general manager of the Pirates?
I think he needs to be fired.
Yes. I like that answer.
Yes, that's a great
number
answer.
1 answer on the board. Excellent. Wow, your thoughts, Mike?
God, I hate to echo Derpy, but yeah, he needs to be fired. But no, that quote, I saw that the other day too, and I just eye rolled. I think I strained my neck when I was rolling my eyes. No, you need to go out and acquire players. You can't keep kicking the can down the road. You have 3 starting pitchers, and you need to build around them. There are guys available via trade out there. You have to go out and get them because you're halfway through the season. The players are who they are at this point.
Ryan, your thoughts?
It's a losing game plan. If you go, it is, guys. If you go with that plan, this is what's going to happen to you. Your team's going to get stale. It isn't the same that it was in the 70s. You can't build your team completely out of the draft. You have to go free agency. In every sport, basketball, football, baseball, hockey, you got to use free agency because here's the thing. This is it's a losing mindset because the Steelers were doing this for a while until we got until the new GM stepped into place. He went and he started doing what? Bringing in free agents, making the team better in the positions we need. Now, if we would sit here and wait for every third baseman to come up through the system, if we were to sit here and wait for every third baseman, every outfielder to come up through the system, it might take forever to get to the point where they could be, where you're satisfied, so you could kick the can down the road that far, or you could kick it a little further and find out that these guys just didn't pan out. So now you have a bunch of guys who can't get the job done. You have to utilize free agency in pro sports. This day and age, if you don't, you're not going to win.
I wonder if you look up, like, out of the top 100 prospects in Major League Baseball, how many of those 100 actually become, let's just say, an average player?
Yeah.
So if you have, let's say, 2, 3, 4 of them, why are you waiting for maybe one of them to hit when you could trade them and get somebody that is established, maybe in their late 20s, so you're getting them in their peak?
You can, right now, like, rumors going around, you can trade for, like, a first baseman, Vlad Guerrero Jr. Yeah, you would have to give up 3 of your top 15 prospects. But, like you just said, are they going to make it to the pros? Where this guy would be your best hitter overall right now. He'd be your batting average, home runs, RBI, and on-base percentage leader.
When I looked into Vlad Guerrero, the problem with him is, and I really would love to have him, is he's signed for the rest of this year, and he's going to cost $25 million next year. Then he's gone. He's going to go somewhere because, I mean, the guy has power. There's no doubt about it. And the Pirates, let's just say they upped their payroll to $100 million, which they're probably not even going to do. That would be a quarter of their salary all in one player.
Mm-hmm. And then there's also another one with Lewis Robert Jr. Mm-hmm. He's another one. It would cost you another 3 of your top prospects, but you're getting 2 established everyday major league players. Yeah, he's coming back from an injury, but my God, he would be one of your better hitters already again with power. But we
already have Rowdy Tellez, and he's starting to catch fire now, and so like I guess that's I guess that's Ben Cherington's.
It was about a good week and a half actually.
I think Ben Cherington's basically like, these guys were so bad, there's no way it can continue all season long. That's kind of what he's doing, right?
Playing law of average.
Yeah, but we've seen it with this Pirate team before. It can go bad all year long. That's Pirate baseball. Especially right now after 2013 through 2015, it can get worse. And the Pirates will prove it to you that it can get worse.
I want to jump in here real quick, guys, and just talk about, just real quick, because I pulled this information up a little bit ago, and I think it's pretty important to share. The Chicago Cubs, who are in last place in our division, they have the highest team payroll with $227 million. $227 million. The next team is the St. Louis Cardinals, who sits in second place. They're over $175 million. Then it's Milwaukee, who is $108 million. The Reds, $103 million. In Pittsburgh, with a puny $84.
3 easy payments in 1999.
3 easy payments in 1999, and it's all yours, guys. $84 million, considerably lower than everybody else in the division, and which I think is the greatest part of it is the Cubs, who have a $227 million payroll, sits in the basement.
Now, I'm not sure if the Cubs are one of the teams, but who's the guy with 2 different colored eyes? Is it like Max Scherzer?
I'm not sure.
I could have the name wrong, but it's the guy with 2 different colored eyes. Like, he has like one blue one and one green one, or it's pretty cool looking.
He's a white guy?
Yeah.
I don't know.
He's a stud pitcher. He's paid like, I want to say $70 million, but it's by like 3 different teams total. So teams that he played for are still paying him like tens of millions of dollars.
I think it is Max Scherzer. I think that is Scherzer.
I think so. Yeah, but that's a great contract right there.
Like, no Barry Bonds or Bobby Bonilla contract, but it's not bad.
Yeah, that was the other day on the 1st.
Yeah.
Oh, that's gonna be coming up pretty soon.
No, it was July 1st.
But I'm saying whenever it's done.
God, does it run through like 2030?
Here's the ironic part. Once he's done with this, do you think he'll invest it in a pyramid scheme?
Bobby Bo?
Yes. Because that's what the owner of the Mets back then, he said, I'm investing in this pyramid scheme, so I can pay him $1 million because I'm going to be making tens of millions of dollars off this pyramid scheme. And then I think he went to jail or something, and now the Mets are on the hook for it.
Yeah.
I love it.
But that is one thing that you could always remember every day or every year on Bobby Bonilla Day. That is the anniversary of the Two Dumb Yinzers. And if you were to check it out, Mike, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody about the website?
TheTwoDumbYinzers.com.
That's Big Bear for you.
Big Bear.
Derpy, I haven't heard a beep at all. Are you still there?
Yes, sir.
Oh man, I like this Derpy guy. He's on the ball today. Typically on the show, there's literally like a 5-second delay for any answer you give, and honestly, it's It keeps me on the edge of my seat.
It is, because you never know. Is he there? Is he off watching something else?
Right.
Is he going to grab a snack?
He's probably running 5 other YouTube channels
probably
your channel's going on.
We've heard him eating on air.
Yeah.
I mean, the list goes on with this guy.
The man, the myth, the legend.
He is.
Derpy.
Absolutely.
The enigma.
Derpy, will you, let's just say they're going to end the show and it's the final time the two Dumb Yinzers have a show many, 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 many years from now. Would you release your name on that day?
Probably.
There you go.
What about your image? I mean, because Derpy, there's a lot of controversy, guys, in debate, because there's some people that listen to the show that believes that Derpy actually is in fact not a real person. Whether it is AI, nobody's ever seen Derpy. Nobody's ever. What was the other thing that you said? They didn't.
He's just a fictional character.
Just a fictional character.
He's real. He's not AI. I believe him. I asked him plain as day, and he says he's not AI. I believe him.
And you didn't have to. You didn't even have to mark the "you're not a robot" box either.
No, I did not.
All
no.
right.
Okay.
But what we got to do is we have to go to break here. We're going to get into Derpy. You're going to be, this is more up your alley here because I know you're not the biggest Pirates follower, but we're going to get into some Steelers talk. I do have a couple college football subjects too, real quick. So we're going to get into that on the other side of the break. You guys have been listening to WBVP 99.3 FM and 1230 AM.
Whether it's Little League or the big leagues, it's time to get out and play ball. Friendly Federal Credit Union reminds you that every team looks forward to playing at home in front of a live crowd. Seeing loyal fans can help any player feel more comfortable. Just like a home game in baseball, Friendly Federal Credit Union always has friendly faces to help and cheer you on at the teller window. Now get out of that dugout and in front of your cheering section. The personal live tellers at Friendly Federal Credit Union.
Looking for a great job opportunity? McDonald's now has full-time and part-time positions available to fit your lifestyle and needs. Set up your own hours and have a lot of fun too. Whatever your situation is, McDonald's has a place for you. Apply today at mchire.com. McDonald's is here for you. I'm loving it.
The wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round, round and round. The wheels on the bus go round and round, all through the town. Oh, hi, don't mind me. This is Andy Dengel. I was just getting ready for the big Freedom United Federal Credit Union bus trip to the ballpark. Why don't you join me? Members and guests of Freedom United Federal Credit Union are invited to a special annual meeting and outing to the stadium on August 24th for a Bucco game. As I alluded to earlier, bus transportation is available and tickets even come with a food credit. Space is limited, so sign up now by visiting the Rochester office or calling 724-774-5575. Don't miss the bus to the Buccos with your friends from Freedom United Federal Credit Union on August 24th. Follow us on Facebook for more information. It's the place where the interest is in you. Freedom United Federal Credit Union, member NCUA, equal housing lender.
Hey, can you imagine trying to hit a fastball or throwing a runner out at home? It's hard to think of doing these things under perfect circumstances, let alone with the distraction and discomfort of dental issues. Regular dental care from Dr. C. Timothy Lip can improve your productivity, happiness, and focus, even if you're not in the big leagues. Dental problems affect more than just your teeth. Visit lipdentistry.com or Dr. C. Timothy Lip Family Dental Offices on College Hill and Robinson Township.
The views and opinions expressed on WBVP and WMBA are those of the participants and host. They are not necessarily the viewpoint of WBVP and WMBA, its staff, management, and advertisers. Thank you for listening to WBVP and WMBA.
Now back to One Man's Opinion with Bryan Pasquale.
Welcome back to One Man's Opinion with Sports. With me, Bryan Pasquale. I'm here at the same part of his studios. Joining me today is my producer, Ryan Garazunas, as well as Derpy and Mike Muller from the Two Dumb Yinzers. Also, make sure you check us out on Beaver County Radio Facebook Live and Beaver County Radio YouTube. Today's show is sponsored by Easy Home Exteriors. They do roofing, replacement windows, doors, and entryways, as well as siding. Easy Home Exteriors is your one-stop shop for all of your exterior modeling needs. For a free estimate, call 412-678-7008. That's 412-678-7008. If you want to call in and ask Mike or Ryan or Derpy or myself any questions, you can call in at 724-843-1888 or 724-774-1888. Derpy, I've got a question for you. We are going to get into the Steelers, but I do have an Ohio State football question to begin with. What's going on with the Ohio State quarterback situation? Is Will Howard going to be the quarterback? Do I have that right, or am I totally lost?
Yes, Will Howard will be the quarterback.
Now, will they contend for a national championship again?
His response today was natty or bust.
All right, there you go. Will they beat up on Penn State this year again?
Of course they will.
Yeah, Mike's over here shaking his head. Yes. Here's the thing. I'm probably going to go to a Penn State game today or this year because my daughter is going to WVU this fall, and they are playing at West Virginia University. West Virginia will be at Pitt this year, so I might go to that game as well. Okay, same question to you, Mike, a.k.a. Big Bear. Derpy says Big Bald Bear, by the way. The Penn State quarterback situation. Drew Alar again? Is that what we got to deal with?
Yeah, that's what we're going to have to deal with. My God, he came in with so much promise and hype, and my God. Last year, it was a tough watch. It made everyone root and clamor for Sean Clifford again. That's how bad he was.
Brian, if you don't mind, can I ask
you can do whatever you want, Ryan. You are the producer.
Let me ask the guys about a Big Ten question. Are you guys concerned about all these new teams that are entering the Big Ten? Of course, that Penn State's always a team, Ohio State's always a team, and Michigan are always good teams in the Big Ten. But now you have these new teams coming from out west. Is that going to How much do you think that's going to change the Big Ten, Mike?
I think it's still going to be Ohio State's conference to run. I think Michigan will be up there as well. And now adding USC and Washington, I think
that's a lot of travel.
That is a lot of travel. It's going to hurt those teams, especially coming into Happy Valley, because they got to land further out and then drive in. They'll give them Penn State the advantage at home. But I think now it's Penn State usually slots in at 3. I think they're going to have to fight for that third spot with USC.
Absolutely.
It's going to add. I like it. It's going to add competition.
And think about those teams, just like anybody else that isn't Ohio State for whatever reason. They are off and on. USC might stink for the next couple seasons, and then they have the most amazing team comes out of nowhere, where they have Reggie Bushes and Devin Whites and Matt Leinart. But you get that all the time with these.
Did you say Matt Leinart?
Matt Leinart was on that team with Reggie Bush, and
he was a good college quarterback.
He was a good quarterback in college.
He went in. He didn't go into the draft. Then got drafted by a good team in the Cardinals and stunk there. How did he mess that up? I mean, Alex.
It was Paris Hilton. Listen, you get distracted by Paris Hilton.
No, he was just a good college quarterback.
So do you think, Mike, that, that could also mess things up as well? Because they just get these super teams out of nowhere. And when you're expecting Penn State, you see this team building over time. Oh, this is going to be our year. And then who was the other team? You said USC and...
USC, I believe it's Washington.
And Washington could do the same thing, Mike. So what effect do you think that those kind of situations have, again, on the Big Ten?
Like I said, I think it's still Michigan, Ohio State. But then, like you said, if USC hits, kind of like, they had Caleb Williams for a couple years.
Yeah.
If they get a quarterback like that, I think they can get really good athletes out there. Penn State, they always get killed by those teams that play the spread, it feels like, and are faster. For some odd reason, we can't really get fast guys at Penn State anymore. I don't know what it is, but I'm worried about that expansion because, it's bad enough. I have to lose to Ohio State 3 out of 4 years. It's bad enough I have to lose to Michigan 7 out of 8 years. Now you throw USC in there.
I do have a question for you, Mike, and it's a little off the wall question, but the $700 million stadium updates they're doing there? Are they what's going on with that? And one, that will allow them to host playoff games, correct?
Yeah.
And it may not be Penn State playing in it. And then two, do you think that will help recruitment?
I think it will help recruitment. Hopefully, though, too, they can. The NIL money out there. From what I read, it's the way they do it. It's different than most places, and that's going to hurt them if they don't get up to the standard as everyone else.
Now, Derpy, because Penn State's updating their stadium, will Ohio State be doing something similar in the near future?
I doubt it.
They don't need to do it, huh, Derp? They're kings of the Big Ten.
They need to get rid of the horseshoe. I hate that stadium. So many bad memories there. Well, although we upset them a couple times, so.
All right. Well, speaking of stadiums, I feel like the hosting of the NFL draft, not next season, but the season after that, will cause for the ownership of the Pittsburgh Steelers to ask for either a new stadium or massive updates, and they won't be wanting to pay for it. They'll be asking the taxpayer to do so.
Oh, yeah. Allegheny County is going to get taxed through the roof. The billionaire owner going to want that handout.
Buy property in Washington County, Beaver County, Lawrence County, Armstrong, all the surrounding Westmoreland, all the surrounding counties, because people will be moving out of there.
Yeah.
Derpy, real quick with you. During the summer here in the preseason, the battle at offensive line, who do you think's going to come out on top and be the starters there? Will the rookies start, I guess, is my question.
Yes.
Both of them? Because Frazier would be the center and Fatano would be the right tackle, I'm assuming. Derpy's thinking.
No.
Deep in thoughts. No, you don't think they'll both start?
Yes.
Yes, no. Okay. All right. So, Broderick Jones, is he going to beat out Dan Moore Jr. at left tackle, I guess, is my next question.
Yes.
All right. Now, this question is for Mike. Freiermuth. They are talking about giving him an extension possibly, and there might be some contract situations. Will he get another contract? Does he deserve another contract? I know he's a Penn State guy.
He'll get another contract. The play of the past 2 years and the injury concerns, I don't think he deserves the contract. Mm-hmm. But if this year he can, be healthy, be productive again with, a upgraded quarterback room, I think he will deserve it, because tight ends throughout the league, they rate him highly. They see what he can do, especially in the pass game. Like Travis Kelce, Kittle, Mark Andrews, they always speak highly of him. I would like to get him locked up as long as it's, good term for the team and for the salary cap.
Now, at quarterback, we are going to have Russell Wilson presumably starting. Will that hurt Freiermuth? Even though he's a major upgrade from what we have, we also know he's like 5'9" and can't see over the offensive lineman. So if Freiermuth's going over the middle, he just may not even see him.
Yeah, because that's what the big concern about Russell Wilson is, his career completion percentage across the middle. But if they can design the plays to get him moving out of the pocket, get Freiermuth, out of that middle of the field into the hash, that will help big time too. And if they want to go to that run game that Art Smith likes, run play action, Freiermuth on crossing routes, in routes, I think it will be a whole lot better than what he did last year.
I hope they can get him moving in the pocket, because that's what they did whenever he was younger and had a little bit more legs. Derpy, this one's for you. The 2025 football season, so not this upcoming season, but the next season, where will Najee Harris be playing? Not Pittsburgh could
Not
be an answer.
Yeah. Not with Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I really like Najee Harris. I think he has good work ethic. I would have given him the extension, because I don't think what they had to pay him was much money.
No.
To pick up this, 50-year option?
Yeah, it would have been dirt cheap for what they had. And then you had the running back up in New England sign an extension. And for what he's getting per year, if they want to go that route and just trying to work out the long-term deal with Najee, his contract price tag is going up.
All right, so Steelers fans, everybody's probably excited about starting quarterback, backup quarterback with Fields, starting running back, backup with Warren at running back. Freiermuth, we have Mount Washington as your second or third option. The offensive line, we've got 4 studs. I think Daniels will be gone after this next season. But we also have Dan Moore Jr., McCormick, and Herbig as quality backups. So I think we have like 8 decent offensive linemen, even though I think Dan Moore Jr. is awful. But as a backup, I think he's serviceable. The problem, and we'll start with you, Derpy, we still only have one wide receiver other than Wilson, the rookie, that probably won't start because he's a rookie. Derpy, what are your thoughts? What are the Steelers going to do at wide receiver?
Absolutely nothing.
You think they're just going to roll out with Pickens, Jefferson, Wilson, and a bunch of no-names, right?
Yes.
Mike, what are your thoughts?
I think what they're going to do, they're going to wait to see how training camp goes, who the cuts are at the final cut-down day, who maybe comes available via trade as, throughout the league, surprises happen in camp. A rookie outperforms a veteran. All of a sudden, that veteran becomes expendable. You can see Omar Khan going for a trade route that way. If he can't work any of that out, kind of like what Derpy said, they're going to roll with what they have, and hopefully the play of Pat Frymuth will act as that number 2 wide receiver. Van becomes a number 3. Wilson's more of your slot guy, and use Jalen Warren out of the backfield more.
Yeah. Actually, if you can involve your tight ends and running backs, that makes up for a lot of the missing pieces they have at wide receiver.
Look at Kansas City. I'm not comparing what we have to Kansas City, but outside of Travis Kelce, who's their receiving core? Before Rashee Rice,
a bunch of nobodies.
Yeah, Rashee Rice didn't do anything until the last couple games of the regular season and then the playoffs.
Ryan, before we go to break, offense on the Steelers, where do you see problems? Where do you see strengths? Whatever. You got about a minute.
I think that up front, immediately, you're going to see a lot of issues. You're going to say, oh, wait, geez, these rookies aren't doing as good as I thought they were going to on the line. Oh, geez, these quarterbacks didn't sink into place. Of course, we have that huge hole, in my opinion, that second wide receiver spot. But I think that it's going to come together over time. If this team managed to put together average seasons under Kenny Pickett and those quarterbacks, I think this group of guys can certainly do more and get better results. I think that it's just going to take a little bit of time. I don't think it's going to be right out the cut, and that might put us in a position where we're playing catch-up a lot of the season.
All right. Unfortunately, we do have to go to break one more time. Derpy, hang on, because we're gonna talk more Steelers on the other side of the break. We all do have a Prince Harry topic and a Caitlin Clark topic as well, so don't go anywhere. You guys have been listening to WBBP 99.3 FM and 1230 AM.
This is Andy Toole, men's basketball coach at Robert Morris University, here to talk about my friends at Falcone Moon Township Ford. I know what it takes to win a basketball game. It begins with practice and a team of players who want to win. The same is true of the team at Moon Township Ford. Professionals who will win you over. They'll find the best rate and terms on a car loan to help you get the best deal. Make a fast break and avoid the roadblocks that stop you from finding the car you want. Go where I go. Moon Township Ford.
Falcone's Moon Township Ford, where friends send friends.
The summer's biggest furniture sale is at AK Nay House. This 4th of July, relax in style and comfort with up to 20% off Flex Steel furniture. With Flex Steel leather power reclined sofas starting at $13.99. Get the ultimate sleep recliner, Z-Cliner by Flex Steel with triple power and zero gravity, just $13.49. Save up to 20% off at Western Pennsylvania's largest Flex Steel gallery, along with 12-month special financing and free delivery. The 4th of July sale only at AK Nay House Appliance, Furniture, Mattress, and TV. You'll do okay with AK.
Looking for a quick and easy lunch or dinner idea? Stop by your local McDonald's now and pick up a $5 meal menu. You'll get a McDouble or a McChicken, 4-piece nuggets, small fries, and small drink, all for only $5. You'll love it, and your family will too. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
Has your classic car or hot rod seen better days? Just call me, Dave Rodenbaugh, and my team at the Pennsylvania Hot Rod Company. The full-service hot rod shop offers it all. Everything from custom fabrication and restoration to regular maintenance and collision repair. With over 40 years of experience, there isn't a job too big or too small. The Pennsylvania Hot Rod Company's enclosed trailer service ensures safe transit for your ride during any season. The Pennsylvania Hot Rod Company is located at 6th Street in Beaver Falls. Visit pahotrod.com or call 412-719-4950.
The views and opinions expressed on WBVP and WMBA are those of the participants and host. They are not necessarily the viewpoint of WBVP and WMBA, its staff, management, and advertisers. Thank you for listening to WBVP and WMBA.
Now, back to One Man's Opinion with Bryan Pasquale.
Welcome back to One Man's Opinion on Sports with me, Bryan Pasquale. I'm here at the St. Barnabas Studios. Joining me today is Ryan Garazunas as well as Mike Muller. Mike, I just want to point something out. You're much taller than I was expecting. I wasn't expecting Mike to be that tall.
Really?
Yeah, I stood up and I was like, oh, okay.
That's I'm not that tall. I'm like maybe 6 foot.
Derpy, we have Derpy as well from the Two Dumb Yinzers on the line. Derpy, I have a height question. How tall are you?
5'6", sir.
5'6"? All right. Derpy, 5'6". Jotting that down.
First you ask if
I'll
he's
ask
of
him,
age and then his height. I'm a little worried here.
Couple questions at a time. I want to make sure. Like I don't want to have to ask his parents for like permission for him to be on the show. I don't know. You know. All right, guys. We're here at the St. Barnabas Studios. You guys can check us out on Beaver County Radio Facebook Live and Beaver County Radio YouTube. Today's show is sponsored by Easy Home Exteriors. They do roofing replacement, windows, doors, and entryways, as well as siding. Easy Home Exteriors is a one-stop shop for all of your exterior remodeling needs. For a free estimate, call 412-678-7008. That's 412-678-7008. Last segment, we were talking about the Steelers and what's going to happen in the summer leading into the season, and we were talking about the offense. Now, let's move into the defense. I'm going to start with Ryan's favorite subject.
Oh, please don't.
Your right end, Hayward. What he really thinks he deserves to be like paid, it be guaranteed money, and it be 2 more years past the season. Ryan, what does he do on defense?
He falls on people. I'm being legitimate, 100% serious. Watch Steeler football games. If you can watch a full football game watching Cam Hayward from beginning to end and still say that he is that player that he was early on in his career, dynamic, making things happen on the field, drawing double teams, it just doesn't happen, guys. He chases the play. He falls on the pile. You see it in movies. This happens in real life. Cam Hayward every time. Every game, Brian.
So Mike and Derby here. We'll start with Mike. Ogunjobi, Benton, and Hayward, that's probably your defensive line. Anybody else going to contribute that's worth a darn, Mike?
For big plays, no, but I can see Fehoko. He's a space eater. He can control the line like when he comes in, but he's not an every down player. I know like Craig Wolfley's huge on him, hyping him up during the games. Outside of that, no, I don't see anything from Loudermilk, DeMarvin Leal. So, no. If any of those top 3 guys get hurt, it's going to be rough.
Derpy, does Keanu Benton take a big step forward in his second season now that he's going to be a starter? He started on the bench like every other rookie last year. Any step forward, do you think, Derpy?
Yes.
I can see him like Javon Hargraves. That's how I picture him this year.
Julio?
No,
Benton.
Keanu Benton, like a young Javon Hargrave, maybe even a Stephon Tuitt type.
I tell you what, Leal kind of broke my heart. I thought that he was going to be something. When he was playing his rookie year, getting time, he was making things happen. But you know what? It isn't working out with him.
No, I think it's between the ears.
And one thing I do want to say before you go on, Brian, this is a very serious point that you have to put into consideration.
Does it involve Twin Peaks?
It does not, unfortunately. But the just last offseason, Cam Hayward was going on record saying that it's him and Aaron Donald and then everybody else. In other words, saying that he's in that top class with only the great Aaron Donald from here at Pitt. I don't think that he's even anywhere in the ballpark, especially at this point in his career. And the money that he's asking, I think, is absolutely insane.
I think you need to get off his back. He was hurt. He really tried hard to get back out there, and everybody needs to get off his back. You guys turned on me as a city. Like, what? How can you be that big, that strong, that much of a bad, what?
Yeah.
And then you're like a 12-year-old girl on like Twitter.
And he's the one who started the whole drama. That's my favorite part.
Well, I guess since Antonio Brown left, somebody has to keep the drama around. Okay, the strength of the team, we have Patrick Queen, Roberts, Highsmith, and Watt at linebacker. What about the guys backing those 4 up, Derpy? Anybody going to play well? Wilson, Herbig?
I think Herbig will surprise a lot.
I think he's going to be out there a lot because, the way they run that defense, with all the timeouts and stoppages of play and how they have action for 7 seconds and then stand around for a minute, TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith do need their rest. So I think Herbig's going to be out there a lot.
And he was on pace. If he played the same amount of snaps as TJ Watt, he was on pace for like 14 sacks last year as a rookie.
Speaking of which, you guys, and I really couldn't chime in. I was really busy at work today. A lot of hands-on stuff. You guys were talking about sacks being important, but hurries?
Pressures.
Pressures. I'm sorry, pressures. What's the difference between a pressure and a hurry?
Same difference.
Okay.
But this is a big thing, especially on PFF. If you a lot of people that have X, Twitter, they go by this PFF just to kind of keep up with statistics and the way things look, and they really put a lot of value into the pressures, and they compare it even to being as important as a sack itself.
More important than a sack.
And that's where a lot of Myles Garrett is passing TJ Watt, is he's getting a lot of pressure where apparently TJ Watt isn't. But isn't the sack itself, the physical action of making the tackle, making a sack, that's what matters?
According to Dan Neely, who we'll have on several times throughout, like he's an absolute whiz at the NFL, he says that it doesn't matter what the results are. And you were talking about that today on today's show, Mike, that like what the result matters. Now, if I make the quarterback throw 1 second earlier than he should have, and it gets knocked down or it gets intercepted or it's just off target or whatever, that's great. But if it's a touchdown, well, maybe we should have let him have another second and make a bad decision.
Like my go-to is, I remember last year in the playoffs, Browns versus Texans. The Browns were getting pressures, but C.J. Stroud was sitting there picking them apart against that pressure. So the pressure was a negative play, where if you got him on the ground, that would have been a positive play for the defense. People like to say pressures because it's the what if. Well, if you pressure him, you can get an interception. If you pressure him, you can get an incompletion. Yeah, people love the what if, the unknown, because it can be whatever you want. It's not tangible. Now, if they start tracking, okay, it was a pressure and it was an incomplete. Okay, let me know pressure incomplete, pressure
You do.
turnover,
If you're going to use
pressure
that
touchdown.
statistic, you have to break it down.
You have to break it down so far.
Put it in context, I guess, is the whole point.
Yeah, that's
you know,
I want the context of the pressure.
That's like, in the NBA, and I bash a lot of people on the NBA because it's just, I don't even know what the heck the game is anymore. But they'll be like, oh, he had like 8 rebounds for every game this season or something. And I'm like, 7 of them, he was just standing there and the ball went to him because they shot a 3 and missed and he was under the basket. Like, he didn't box somebody out and out rebound them and work for it. So I will play devil's advocate, Mike. Joe Burrows, Cool Joe, the former crush of Livy Dunn. She admitted she had a crush on him when she first went to school. And Joe Burrows says he thinks sacks are the most overrated stat because he goes, I take sacks sometimes just because it helps us.
Yeah.
You know, it's the smarter play at the time
versus throwing a dumb play or something. He just takes. He's like, we're going to punt it anyway, so we're up by 2 touchdowns or something. So why not just take the sack and fight another fight in the next possession?
But it also goes what we were saying about pressures, the context of the sack.
Okay, I'm also going to play devil's advocate because 2 seasons ago, T.J. Watt had, or was it 3 seasons ago? When did he have like a zillion sacks? It was 3 seasons ago, right?
Yeah,
because I think he was hurt one season.
Yeah, he was hurt the season after.
I want to say 70% of his sacks were on first downs, and the other team got a first down or a touchdown on that same series after the sack. Now, I know put him in second and long, but I don't know. 3rd and 15, they complete a first down. It's like, where were you at on the 3rd and 15?
Exactly.
All right, so we're putting it into context.
In context, yeah.
All right, this one's for you, Derpy. Joey Porter Jr., Jackson, Elliott, Fitzpatrick. That's our 4 best defensive backs, 2 cornerbacks, and free safety and strong safety. Anybody else going to make an impact there in the defensive backfield, especially nickel and dime packages?
Who did we just sign?
Good call, Derpy. I don't know.
Trade. I mean,
we traded for Jackson.
Yeah,
and we brought in Elliott.
Elliott.
You think he's a good signing? I think so too. I think he's going to fit well with Fitzpatrick there in the playing, I guess, strong safety there.
I'm just disappointed about the loss of Trenton Thompson. I thought he played pretty well down the stretch.
He was a nice backup. When I seen him in the game, I wasn't worried when he was backing somebody up. I didn't want it to be long term, but it, being what it was, I didn't mind him back here. And Deshaun Elliott, I think he's going to be a good addition, Brian. But also Dante Jackson, he was, again, by PFF, just depends on if you pay attention to these guys or not. They say last season, he was the 5th best man coverage cornerback in the NFL behind only Sauce Gardner and a couple other guys.
Well, you'd like to think, too, he's going to be covering the other team's 2nd best receiver a lot, too. So that should really help with Joey Porter Jr. is going to be falling around their ace. You guys can check out the 2 Dumb Yinzers every Monday through Friday, 11 to 12. We have Derpy, Mike, and Ryan in studio here. All 3 of them. Well, Derpy's on the phone, but you guys can check out their live cast on YouTube. That's who the voices are if you're just tuning in that you're listening to. The one more position, we know Boswell's going to be Boswell, but the new punter, Johnston, I mean, that's got to be a huge improvement.
No, big upgrade over Persley Harvin. Like, this guy's consistent. And that was Harvin's biggest weakness, was he was inconsistent.
Yeah, and I believe the Steelers want to run the ball and control the clock a lot this year, and so punting will be a big, important part of the game.
Field position's key.
Derpy, anything you have for, I guess, like summer training camp and preseason? What do you think? Anything else that we missed about the Steelers that you might be looking for?
I'm going to keep an eye on Wilson. Peyton Wilson.
Peyton Wilson, yeah, I think I just don't see him making a big impact the first 8 games of this year, but I think after that he's going to be an important part and maybe even a potential Pro Bowler going, if he stays healthy.
I can see him pushing Landon Roberts right away to start.
That's what I keep hearing. You know what? I got to tell you that Landon Roberts had a really good season last year. He held his own for all the injuries that we had at that inside linebacker spot. The way he was able to, hold his own and still run the ship. Very interested to see how he does. And as you guys are saying about Peyton Wilson, if he lives up to the hype that every single person that I'm hearing is talking about, he should be somewhere in the mix. But that's what I'm interested in seeing. Is he that caliber of a player, especially being a rookie?
Okay, 2 things because we have to go here in less than a minute. Prince Harry of all people is supposed to win the Pat Tillman Award on the ESPYs. That ticks me off. I'm not happy about that. Real quick, Derpy. Caitlin Clark. Is she all the hype? Does she back it up? Yes or no?
Yes.
Mike?
Yeah, it's got to put those turnovers in context.
Mike watched the one YouTube video where it showed 20 of her turnovers go off the hands of her teammates, but 18 of them were still bad passes. So I just don't see it the way Mike sees it. But
and Miss Clark is right by me. I have nothing bad to say about her, man.
All right, so we're a little over halfway through the WNBA season. Caitlin Clark has 118 turnovers. The record is 137. So in about 3 more games, she will have the single season record for the most turnovers in the WNBA. All right, everybody. I want a special thanks to the 2 Dumb Yinzers, Ryan, Derpy, and Mike. You guys have been listening to WBVP 99.3 FM and 1230 AM. We'll see you back here in 167 hours.
The views and opinions expressed on WBVP and WNBA are those of the participants and host. They are not necessarily the viewpoint of WBVP and WNBA, its staff, management, and advertisers. Thank you for listening to WBVP and WNBA.
You've been listening to One Man's Opinion on Sports with Bryan Pasquale on Beaver County Radio. Don't forget, you can watch the show on WBVP-WNBA Facebook page anytime. Tune in next Wednesday from 5 to 6 p.m. for One Man's Opinion on Sports with Bryan Pasquale on Beaver.